Ian Garry versus MVP is happening this Saturday, and honestly, I'm not super hype about this actual fight because I think it's probably going to be pretty boring. Maybe even the duelist fight on the main card and even the prelims. But what really grabs my attention is figuring out who is going to win. Because when I think about it, it's a tough call. And that unpredictability is what makes it interesting. Like when you check out Ian's last few fights, you will see that he's never gone against someone with MVP's type of style. Plus, Ian usually has the size and height advantage over most of his opponents. In any of his fights, you can see that he sticks to the same game plan, high level movement, keeps his distance, throws a lot of leg kicks and solid punches, and staying in range to make his opponents come to him. And he's good at that, and it works, but that's what makes this matchup so interesting against MVP. MVP might be able to neutralize everything Ian does. Plus, MVP is faster, especially with his footwork. His blade stance is what makes him quicker than the typical kickboxer stance. And that's the interesting part. Ian has never fought anyone with that kind of speed. I wonder if Ian can even close the distance because we've seen that MVP's blitz is really, really fast. It's hard to time a punch on him when he's coming in. And that's why Kevin Holland got outclassed by MVP. Even though people like to say Holland isn't that good, I think people forget that Holland was able to catch Wonderboy time after time, who's obviously another phenomenal karate blitz fighter. Another thing people forget is that MVP has some serious knockout power. Sure, he couldn't knock out Holland, but Holland has a crazy chin. Ian, on the other hand, looks like he has a glass chin, and I'm not gonna lie, it would not surprise me at all if MVP knocked out Ian Garry. If Ian could somehow pull off a win though, I will definitely give him props. But that's kind of hard to see, because who has ever outpointed Wonderboy or MVP? Yes, both of these fighters have been caught, but they were never outpointed in their entire career. MVP has always been able to outstrike his opponents. The only time these type of karate fighters have lost is it's either they've been caught by a knockout blow or they got out-grappled. That's why I question if Ian can catch MVP, and if Ian is able to catch him, I will give him his props. Another thing I've been noticing is that a lot of people seem to be picking Ian Garry, and I'm honestly surprised because I just don't see him outpointing MVP. I mean, it's possible, but he'd be the first one to do it with that type of style. And honestly, I think it's kind of silly to think a kickboxer will outpoint a karate fighter, considering that karate is one of the most point-based combat sport, right up there with taekwondo. But look, I'm not saying it's entirely impossible for Ian not to win this fight. I actually think it's possible. But I think what he needs to do is that he needs to pressure MVP to the fence and try to cut him off and land some type of body kick or head kick, because I feel like MVP will have a hard time getting out of there since he's cornered. You might say that Ian Garry can try to grapple in the clinch and take MVP down, but even then, I don't think he can keep MVP down or submit him. MVP will likely get back on his feet and continue to outstrike Ian. Overall, I don't think Ian Garry trying to outstrike MVP is going to work. To beat MVP, I feel like you have to be a high-level grappler, and I don't think Ian is that. In general, I think this fight might end up in a knockout, or they could play it safe and MVP will just pick them apart. I truly believe MVP will win the leg kick battle too, and if you ask me, I think Ian chose the worst stylistic matchup possible. I'm gonna be biased here, but I'm praying for the MMA gods that Ian Garry loses. I can't stand the dude. He's a weirdo. The main reason I don't like him is pretty simple. He called Neil Magny a child abuser, and he was walking around with a Jeff Neal photo printed on his shirt. But he gets all butthurt when everyone states the obvious about his relationship. So much that he starts threatening to sue people, so I would love nothing more than to see him get knocked out this Saturday. With all that being said, my official prediction for this fight is MVP to TKO Ian Garry in the second round. And I think the finishing sequence will be that Ian Garry trying to land a leg kick as soon as MVP blitz in. And I think MVP will connect first and drop Ian. And after that, he's going to finish the fight with a bunch of bombs for the TKO victory. That's my official pick for this fight. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like always, guys, I'll see you guys on my next one.